Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my annual sort of recap of The Walking Dead for this season. In this one, of course, we're going to be having a look at The Walking Dead Season 6. I'm going to do a season review. We're going to go over the season, talk about the different episodes briefly. Of course, we've done reviews for them individually, which you can check through. They'll be in the channel in a playlist. You can see that if you want to watch any particular reviews. In this one, this is going to be a more general overview. We're going to compare it to previous seasons, and we're going to do a review of Season 6, and I'll give my thoughts on whether or not I think it's the best season yet. And I'll put the link in the description to the wiki page for the episode guide, so you can go ahead and follow along with me as we go through this. We're going to take a look at each one, 1 to 16 of Season 6, and give my quick thoughts on each one. So click the link in the description, and let's take a look at it together. So, Season 6, of course, premiered October 11, 2015. Was pretty amped for the season when it first started. Of course, Season 5 ended in tremendous fashion with Conquer, which was an awesome finale. Season 5 had the highest ratings the show had ever had. We had No Sanctuary premiering at over 17 million US viewers. We had the finale Conquer, 15.8 million viewers. It was just a bang out season. Season 5, I think, took the show to another level from where Season 4 and prior had been at. And going into Season 6, I really didn't know what we were kind of gonna see. I mean, we had the trailer and that, and we knew that we were going to see some pretty big zombie herds and that we'd get to see No Way Out. And I really didn't think that they were going to bring in the saviors that quickly. I thought they might extend the wolves and kind of space that out a little bit more and maybe make that into, the second half or a good portion of the season. They didn't do that. They sort of handled the wolves in similar fashion to how the Terminus, the hunters, were handled, as they were sort of a mini villain. They weren't really a major villain like Negan or the governor, so to speak. So going into the season, first time again, the extended episode, and this season was great because we had 3 extended episodes. First time again, the premiere was extended. Also, Here's Not Here, which was the flashback episode for Morgan, was extended. And then the season finale, Last Day on Earth, of course, was also extended. So 90-minute episodes translate to like 60 with the intro and that. So first time again, it was a good solid premiere. I was pleased with it. I didn't think it was as good as No Sanctuary or some of the previous season premieres, though. But it was a really great start to what ended up being a very creative and awesome story arc that went from episode 1 that finished in the second half in episode 9. By the time episode 9 was done, that first story arc for season 6 had completed. We went through No Way Out zombie herd coming through, and then also the wolves. So the combination of those two things, plus kind of ending off the story arc of Alexandria and the initial kind of meeting our characters of Alexandria, Rick and the group kind of not fitting in, and then eventually them kind of assimilating, combining, and becoming one larger group of Alexandria, which they feel very together now at the end of this season, especially with Aaron, being in the line with the others and that, and all the character deaths in Season 6 in No Way Out, the most death-heavy central character episode we've ever had. So first time again was a good starting point. JSS, I felt like, was even better. I mean, that episode was intense, and I really like, too, how that kind of starts this whole Morgan, Carol kind of issue where they're just totally on different sides with regards to killing people, and that doesn't get resolved until Last Day on Earth in the finale, when they actually kind of meet each other in the middle. Morgan realizes in the end that he does have to kill sometimes to save the people he loves. Carol's right. And then Carol also kind of has an influence from Morgan as well, too, that, yeah, it does kind of suck killing people, and she doesn't really want to do it anymore. She's kind of lost her will to do that and thus to survive. So that was a great... I hated what they did with Morgan earlier on because I hated the fact that he was kind of like that. But I really like now how he's kind of come back a little bit for Carol. And the way it ended off with the season, I thought, was an interesting character development piece for Morgan to kind of go all one way, go all the other way, and then kind of realize that, in the reality, sometimes you have to be in the middle. You can't always go that one way or another. So JSS was an awesome episode, and getting to see the wolves attack and everything was brutal. Getting to see some of the Alexandrian characters like Jessie and that defend herself was really cool. It'd be like a character high moment for her. It was just an incredible follow-up to a great premiere. Going on from there, we had Thank You, which was again with Glenn, right? You know, you've got the Glenn situation with Nicholas, and a lot of people really hated that because, as I thought he was dead originally, we thought they had killed off Glenn, and it was a fake out death, as we find out later. They did kill off Nicholas, though, which was a pretty big, I'm going to say maybe not pretty big, but it's a decent sized character death. He'd be like a B to C, maybe a C character, I suppose I would refer to him as kind of like Glenn's. He's like Glenn's almost his sidekick type of deal, but they hated each other at first and that kind of deal, and how that worked out. So I liked it. I thought it was interesting and good, and it kind of got us started with really watching the episodes carefully, going into a lot of detail with the analysis and breakdowns and stuff, and really being careful while we're watching, to the point where we're even looking at each frame and breaking down frames to see exactly what happened. And people, before too long, figured out it was the dumpster under the dumpster, which is still a running joke every time a character dies. Not to worry, Nicholas jumped in front of him and he's crawled under a dumpster. But this time, I don't think in the finale the dumpster will be able to save him. Number 4, Here's Not Here. So this episode was an extended one as well. This is a great story episode, a great flashback episode for Morgan. It's a little dry, a little bit, but I feel like it does what it needs to do. Maybe it didn't need to be extended. Maybe that's the issue. It's one of those episodes that don't really need to be extended, but I guess they wanted to do that because they wanted to really get us in the mind space of Morgan and figure out kind of how he changed so much and why he's in the state he's in right now, which helped out later on with the finale when him and Carol kind of, when he goes after Carol and his decisions. Recently, it's been at least interesting to figure out what's Morgan going to do. Is he going to kill now? Is he not going to? Is he going to let Carol die? What was he going to have to do? It was a good setup episode. It was a good flashback episode, good setup, but it was a little bit dry compared to the other first 3, I want to say, at least in terms of the action and excitement, because it didn't have much of the present storyline. It was mostly flashback, which is fine. I like to see those too. Then Now, episode 5. Now is maybe the weakest episode of the season, I'd have to say. It's probably, it's at least one of them. That, and then, of course, The Next World. But The Next World's kind of fun, too, which is a different feel, which I kind of like, because if you see later on where things go to, I think I can say that compared to the others, Now is probably the weakest episode. You do have some concentration on different characters that you're not used to. You have some time with Aaron and Maggie and Denise in that. But then again, if you look at the episode afterwards, see, sometimes an episode might seem kind of weak, but then afterwards, when you see that character is killed and this relationship is important, Aaron and Maggie's relationship is important, and how he feels about her, and that he wants to help her and everything, and that kind of brings him out with the others for the Negan stuff. So the ramifications of even sometimes your weaker episodes later on can be meaningful, but I do think it's the weakest episode of the season is Now. Then we have Always Accountable. Awesome episode, especially now seeing, Daryl and Dwight and kind of their rivalry and how that all got started there. Was really surprised they brought in the Saviors so early. Thought we wouldn't see them for a while. And just really impressed with that episode. I think that was a great one, really. Heads Up was an awesome lead up to the mid-season finale episode. Really great. Exciting, of course, start to finish. Great episode. Michael E. Satrazemis, one of my favorite directors, you guys know, for The Walking Dead. I love how he uses music. He did it again, and at the end of that episode, it was a huge cliffhanger moment too. AMC, always more cliffhangers. I love it. It's kind of true with this season for sure. That was a big cliffhanger. People were pissed that we didn't get to see the No Way Out sequence. I guess it just got pushed through, and maybe they had recorded so much film that maybe with the editing sometimes they had to push a sequence into the next half or into the next season in this case, because they had already filled so much in. They either had to cut some or push the rest through. So so start to finish. So I liked it. I thought it was good. You did get to see the death of Deanna, so it was pretty big, and it was a good ending part for the first half. But the story arc doesn't end cleanly there. It gets pushed off because there's so much to cover that they couldn't jam it all into episode 8 because they had already filmed so much, and it just works out. It seems like that they're going to push No Way Out into the next half. So then it comes the best episode of The Walking Dead ever for sure at this point is No Way Out. I mean, I've seen the episode again. It's just all around. It's such a well-rounded episode. You get some action. You get zombie herd coming in and just all kinds of craziness with the zombie kills. You get huge deaths. You get the whole Anderson family that's remaining is killed off. You get Rick and him just not giving a shit with the axe, going out and hacking down zombies. So you had, with No Way Out, one of the best episodes ever. Probably the best episode ever, I'd say. It actually ended up being better than Too Far Gone or No Sanctuary to me, which was a surprise. I actually didn't think that they were going to be able to outdo Too Far Gone. I thought that might always be the best episode, but this one, it certainly did it, and it made Too Far Gone kind of look small time, even though it has a tank and the governor and everything. This one, the scale of it all was huge. The pacing was amazing, and Greg Nicotero directed. This was the best episode of The Walking Dead ever, I'd have to say, for sure. The Next World, kind of a silly, fun episode. You got stuff with Jesus. You got them chasing him down, and just kind of fun silliness, which some people might think this is the weakest episode of this half. Maybe it is, but it's just kind of fun. It's a fun episode. It's bright. It's light. It's a little bit different than we're used to, and for that, I do enjoy it, especially with how dark the show gets soon. Then we get episode 11, Knots Untied. This is when it's a little bit light still, but it's starting to get into the darker stuff. You've got Rick. He kills the guy at the hilltop. And it's a really good episode too as well. It's another one that's great. We get to see the hilltop for the first time, which is cool. We get to meet Gregory. We get to see all of that. So that's all great. Really liked Knots Untied as well too. Not Tomorrow Yet. So after that, Not Tomorrow Yet. That episode. Okay, so that was also directed by Greg Nicotero. This one, this one was an insane episode. Some people were saying this is their favorite episode ever. This one is really a weird episode. It is so dark because they're just straight up killing people while they're asleep. I mean, this one is like an action fest, crazy episode that is dark, and it screwed me up for a while after I watched it. I was like, wow. I did videos on the channel where I was like, is Rick's group in the right anymore, or what's going on? You can definitely see Morgan's perspective when it comes to episodes like this and how, they just go in and just start annihilating everybody. So it makes for one of the most exciting, craziest episodes ever. Also one of the darkest. It's definitely a creative episode, and I loved it. And it's great because now that once they got to that level, once Negan shows up, you can kind of see, it's like, okay, yeah, you can see from Negan's perspective that they would need to be punished in that. And, it does definitely serve the storyline, serve the series well. It's one of the most exciting episodes ever. The Same Boat is not a bad episode either. I mean, it's still a good episode, episode 13. It's still a good episode. You have the stuff with Carol and Maggie, which has had its effect now too as well. Carol leaves because of what happened in that sequence. Maggie's been hurt and needs to go to the hilltop. So again, it served the plot for later. And we did get to meet some new saviors in there and get another sense of how big the saviors are, how many locations they have. And some exciting stuff for Carol and Maggie as well. So it's a good episode too, and there's some good dialogue, there's some good lines in it. Twice as Far, episode 14, another awesome episode. So this one, Twice as Far, man. This one, of course, is the Denise one where they swap out Abraham for Denise. And that was shocking. The end of it was really exciting. And again, it was a great episode as well too. The Saviors make shit interesting, you gotta admit. Like, having a really strong group like that allowed them to do some awesome episodes in the second half. So you had that one, then you had East, which ends crazy as well too. And then, of course, Last Day on Earth, and it just being an awesome episode in terms of like intensity. And the Saviors, and some people calling it a 90-minute trailer for season 7. It's kind of like that, yeah, sort of. So first 9 episodes of the season, finishing the Alexandria story arc, No Way Out, and the major deaths that occur in that with the zombie herd. So first 9, going through that, awesome. Following it up, was really impressed, really surprised. They crammed in so much stuff with the Saviors. Did not think we were going to see them this early. I thought they were going to put a lot of filler in this season, and they didn't. So 16 episodes, crazy episodes. You can count them 17 and a half if you want to count that 3 were extended. And I would say for sure this one led to the best season of The Walking Dead ever, definitely. I mean, Season 5 was incredible, and I can see if some people's favorite is still Season 5 because you have a lot of different things happening in Season 5. You've got a good number of different story arcs throughout it. You've got in Season 5 the stuff with Terminus and the Hunters. Then we have the best stuff with the hospital and that, and then we have after that and finding Alexandria eventually and starting to kind of merge in. But if I had to compare, I think the war with the Saviors more exciting than the stuff at Alexandria, and even the first half with the zombie herd and No Way Out and everything, I would have to choose it over the Hunters and what happens after that, and throwing the Wolves in season 6 too. So it's an incredible season, man. They blew me away with this season. I couldn't believe how much ground they covered from the comic book series, how much action they included in the back half, and just how great the whole No Way Out experience was to get to see everything in the major deaths that occurred as part of it. So season 6, my favorite season. They outdid themselves again. I just don't know where the series could go from here. I mean, it's gotten so big. You have, think about the amount of cast and the people involved with what they've done, the amount of zombies and the amount of saviors and the amount of actors that would have had to include and everything. Man, it's just absolutely nuts. So in terms of score, I'm going to give this one, I gave season 5 like a 10 out of 10. I'm going to give this one a 10 out of 10 as well too. I mean, I don't see how I couldn't. It's kind of tricky because it's like saying it's a perfect season, and I don't know if such a thing exists unless it's like one episode and there's nothing wrong with it and that's the season or something. Because you're doing 16 episodes, you're doing extended episodes, and you're going to have kind of your your slow down episodes here and there, like Here's Not Here and Now and stuff like that. You're going to have little, you can't always have climax all the way through. It has to come down and go up and everything as usual. So I love season 6, man. Season 6 was incredible. Can't wait, of course, for season 7, which will be a while now in October when it comes back. And I think season 7 could be even better than season 6. But it depends how they handle Negan. It depends what happens with it. Nonetheless, either way, it should be another awesome season. So we'll see how the show grows from here on out. Hopefully the viewership picks back up to where it was at its peak in season 5 with the premiere. I would think it would, because I think the season 6 finale is a bigger cliffhanger than the season 4 finale. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say for the season as a review. It's incredible all the way through, with the dips only being around Here's Not Here and Now, and then another one sort of around the next world, but definitely not bad at all, that's for sure. So write your comments below on what you guys thought about this season as a whole. If you want to do a review, recap, and talk about some of your favorite episodes from it, or maybe ones you didn't like, go ahead and write it below, and let's discuss. What a great season. Incredible, man. So keep sending me your guys' questions for the Q&As, coming up after the season finale. Of course, Fear the Walking Dead this weekend, reviews for that. Maybe I'll do predictions for that updated. And yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got to say for season 6. That's it for season 6. Incredible season, guys. Absolutely loved it. So write your comments. If you guys like this review, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe, you can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one today. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. As always, this is Trev. Saying peace. See you guys.